Howdy guys, Rex here. So concerning the case study of Kentucky Ballistics Serbu 50 caliber catastrophic failure video, I do have a hypothesis. Basically, the firing of a 50 BMG M962 Saboted light armor penetrator, like a slap round, through a barrel with a muzzle brake can cause an obstruction, increasing chamber pressure radically. The obstruction can consist of a non-visible dimensional constriction that you might have to measure it with special tools to even detect it. The obstruction can go like totally unnoticed, even if you inspect it, as it might just appear to be even slight, you might need special tools to even see it. Doesn't take much. Upon the catastrophic failure we've seen, the obstruction can be completely dislodged and not discoverable. And this occurring all in a rifle with an untraditional thread locking design can be extremely hazardous. I don't know if you guys seen the video by Kentucky Ballistics. He was very brave to post that after it happened. He was shooting a Serbu 50 BMG rifle with M962 slap rounds, which I actually have shot slap rounds. I have a couple left here. And it exploded in a magnificent explosion, but incredibly troubling. Like, it's hard to watch. It was very hard for me to watch. I've had seen a lot of crazy things over the last 35 years of shooting centerfire rifle. And not all that time has been controlled range time either. I went through all different kinds of phases, experimenting and doing things as a kid, and working my way up through various different environments of shooting and stuff like that. But the second I heard about that, I hadn't seen the video. I actually posted a video on the 17 BMG, which was kind of a joke video, having not actually seen the video or heard of it of the Kentucky Ballistics where the 50 caliber exploded. If I would have known that would have happened, I wouldn't have probably posted that 17 BMG video. Maybe it was through the ether where I heard maybe some chatter about that general topic. My brother-in-law actually called me and said, "Dude, did you see the video?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he told me, and I immediately, once I heard he was shooting M963 slap rounds, I had a hypothesis of what goes on. Now, a hypothesis is educated guess. It's not a guess, it's an educated guess with experience. Now, M962 slap rounds are a Saboted projectile. A Sabo, spelled S-A-B-O-T, is pronounced Sabo, really. And it's Dutch and a few other languages for the armored shoes that the knights would wear. If you've ever seen the metal boots that were armored for knights, that's what a Sabo was. And that's what they call the plastic accelerators that are used to propel a much smaller projectile and a larger cartridge even faster, like the M105 smoothbore cannons on the M1 Abrams tanks. Those are rounds with sabos on them, and they go very, very fast. And the idea behind the slap, the 50 caliber slap, the M962, is that it is a very, very fast, and it's a carbide penetrator in there. I could show a picture of one here for you. And the Sabo is lighter. It's actually supposed to be a lower pressure cartridge than your standard M33 ball or your Mark 211 Mod O or whatever in the 50s. So it's actually supposed to be a lighter pressure. But the idea with the Sabo is it propels that small projectile extremely fast with lower pressures. So what the heck happened? And I've seen a few different videos of guys that I really like, and I'm not super familiar with Kentucky Ballistics channel, but he seems like a pretty nice guy, and he seemed like he did a real fair and honest assessment trying to figure out what the heck happened. Forgotten Weapons did a really good video on why guns explode in general, and he kind of offered his perspective on what might happen there. Essentially a barrel obstruction, and he kind of went on with that a little more. I'm going to shed a little more light on the subject here, having shot 50s a lot. Now, this is something we actually talk about, believe it or not, at the RX seminar, at the Rex Defense course we do. And I actually talk, this is one of the reasons I talk about internal ballistics so long. I give at least a good half a day just towards internal ballistics, because when you're shooting magnums, there's a lot that can happen, not only with the subtleties of performance that translate to external ballistic performance, but also like danger-wise. And I do have a slide, believe it or not, for the last few years at the RX seminar, where I put up a picture of an M963 slap round, and I talk about it being a specialized cartridge being developed for the M2 machine gun, belt-fed machine gun, which does not have a muzzle brake, okay? And I mentioned at the seminar, whenever I remembered to, hey, do not use these in a rifle with a muzzle brake, which is most of your shoulder-fired 50s. They're a cool novelty, but if your muzzle brake is not specifically designed for that Sabo, you're going to have major problems. It's actually in the manual. And I dug this out. I read this a long time ago when it came out. This is by Special Forces Sniper Dean Michaelis, the 50 caliber sniper course, the hard target interdiction manual. He's one of the guys that set up the original HTI course for SOTIC, with the Special Operations Target Interdiction course. It's a big, thick book. And it requires a lot of patience to read this from cover to cover. I've read it several times. A lot of his systems are excellent, and I've kind of, adopted a lot of his systematic methodologies on how to do things. But right here on page 411 is a giant warning. This is from the guy who did all the experimentation for the Army, setting up the hard target interdiction course for the United States Army Special Forces course. I'll read it to you. Page 411 from the book. Caution. Do not fire any style Saboted ammunition in a weapon fitted with a muzzle brake, compensator, flash hider, or shotgun choke, unless you are sure they are compatible. That's the giant, huge, bold letters here. So that's something immediately when I heard what weapon it was and what ammunition it was that I expected what to see when I watched the video. One thing I noticed right off the bat, having experience with these types of rounds, was the pressure. Even Kentucky Ballistics, I forget the gentleman's name, Scott maybe, right? He observed that it seemed to recoil harder, and it was like getting a little more violent from shot to shot, which would make perfect sense. What happens is the Sabo, the plastic on there, it's a high temperature plastic designed for that, but it's not designed for all the different kinds of muzzle brakes. Some muzzle brakes can be fitted to accommodate those rounds, but it'll build up a tiny, tiny amount of buildup from the plastic in the muzzle brake. And you won't see it. The projectile will still exit fine, but your pressure will go up. Now, like I said before, the M962 actually has lower pressure than most of your 50 caliber rounds if they're not obstructed by buildup from the plastic Sabo, okay? And so you see the pressure build up until finally the tail cap, or whatever you want to call it on the Serbu design, which does not have lugs, gave out before the muzzle brake gave out. Typically what you'll see, and I've seen this before, is a muzzle brake will get buildup in it, and whether it be copper because it's cut wrong, misaligned, or if you're shooting Sabos out of a muzzle brake that's not designed for it, you get plastic buildup there, and it'll build up so much pressure you'll start seeing massive pressure signs in your brass. Okay, you always inspect your brass when it starts acting funny. If you get a round that seems like it's really like way more pep than normal, inspect the brass. If your primer's blown out, you need to stop and you need to investigate what's going on, or you're going to blow yourself up. There's a lot of signs of pressure that you'll see before it blows up, usually, if you're lucky, right? And you'll see muzzle brakes blast off. It'll strip the threads off and they'll go flying. It'll actually deform the front of the barrel. Sometimes it'll be much less than that. If you have a front sight post, I've seen front sights come off just because the pressure in the barrel, and this is from moisture, just a little bit of a tiny water droplet. So you look down the bore and it looks clear open, but it's not. You have moisture drops get in the very end of the muzzle, right in the crown, and that's enough with the supersonic projectile trying to get out of there to build the pressure enough to deform the barrel, and the barrel expands on the end and knocks the front sight off. Seen that too. Now, with the Serbu, let me see here, I got this for you guys. I'm standing next to the Armalite. I got a couple different 50s. I've shot many over the years. This is an Armalite AR-50 Bolt. This is just the one that was closest to me. It has a tri-lug design, 3 lugs, And you have a lot of purchase here so that when this slides into the action, okay, you turn it and like a key, it goes in here and it can't come backwards, right? It's a lot of steel to prevent that from happening. Now, most weapons, especially weapons that are approved by militaries, if you look at military bolt action rifles or most rifles, they're like designed for over 100% overpressure. I think Scott from Kentucky Ballistics estimated maybe, or the designer of the Serbu said he had like 80-some thousand PSI copper units of pressure is cup. And that's how they measure pressure in firearms. But if you have a lot of overpressure, that's why they overbuild the bolt, the lugs, the action, everything. They way overbuild it on most commercial and military designs to accommodate for those crazy times when something like that happens and save your face. Bad deal. So in my opinion, what happened was he had, number one, using a Saboted projectile. You're not going to even necessarily see the buildup of plastic in there. You'd have to measure it sometimes with a caliper or a micrometer to see if it's enough. Doesn't take much to build up enough pressure, especially to defeat what appears to be pipe threads in the Serbu design, which is something that, like, I've looked at the Serbus and the price. Back in the day when I was a younger guy, I was like, man, that seems like a good deal, But I was always kind of scared of the locking mechanism, if you can even call it a locking mechanism. It should be able to handle a lot more than that to give you a little more forgiveness. But with the Saboted projectile, this is my educated opinion, okay, and with experience of the 50s, is you probably had plastic buildup in the muzzle brake enough to cause the pressure to go over whatever the threshold was for that particular action. Kind of a light duty locking system there with pipe threads. That's not lugs. And that caused that to blow out. If there was a more major obstruction in the shot before it exploded, that would also be removed with that bullet coming behind it. So that's going to be gone for inspection afterwards. You'd have to look between each shot to see that, and you might not even see it with your eyeball. You'd have to measure it. Doesn't take much to have a barrel obstruction that can blow your rifle up. And I say howdy to Forgotten Weapons and Scott and everyone else who's watching this deal. And hopefully this can add a little more light to it. I'm not saying that's for sure what happened, but it says right in the HTI manual not to use a Sabo projectile, an M962 with a muzzle brake if you're not sure it's designed for that, okay? And especially if you get a weapon that's not really geared for super high pressure, that's probably what happened. I'd say 85% chance plus, in my humble opinion. So if you find this interesting, you want to learn more about internal ballistics of weapons and large calibers and extreme long-range shooting. We shoot out to 3,000 yards at our classes. We do all different kinds of training. Check out rexdefense.com, and thank you for watching. Nice.
I've never taken a long-range class before, but I can't imagine anybody delivering this much information in this short of a period.
Yeah, it takes a while. After you've been around a while, you kind of accumulate most of this information. Some of it falls by the wayside. Some of it you retain. At least you know it's there, and if you need to use it, you can pull on it.
You cannot miss an opportunity to gain knowledge. You cannot. The guys that are going to talk here, there must be 250 years of experience wandering around, and the people that you're going to be exposed to, And I'm talking like hard-earned experience.
Rex is, of course, an absolute natural. He showed us over the years that, so I wasn't surprised to see him perform beautifully because he was born for it. He is naturally an awesome presenter. So whether he does it through YouTube, on video camera, or live, and by the way, congratulations, this is beyond the full house. I really think some people snuck up on you, man. You got to double check on who paid and who didn't, because I see more than 80 people here. I see north of 100 people.
If you have not been studying long range for quite some time, I'm not saying not to come to this class. I'm saying you better put your helmet on. It's gonna go fast. You can't get information like this going to happen in this class. You can't get that like anywhere.
He's already well known, and he'll get better and better and better.
But you're right. We have a very strong concentration of people with this much interest and passion. You know, in this one room, everybody's here looking for the best and trying to be the best, and I love it.
And that's the secret to success, too, guys, is surrounding yourself with competent, intelligent, and passionate people.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot in this room, because everybody that gathers together here is because of a love for the sport or the craft and the skill and the art and the science. And you, Mr. Rex, you're kicking some butt up there today, man. You're in the zone.
I'm getting sweatier and sweatier, Lou. Wait until 4 hours from now.
You know, I'm a little scared to get up there. I mean, Rex is such a great speaker in this forum, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to bore these guys to death. But I can tell you one thing I like about these type of forums: when you get guys that admit to being interested in long-range shooting, you're past the guy who swears he can shoot a quarter-inch group with his factory Savage with factory ammo. So these guys, they're not at that point. They've gone past that. They're really serious now, and they really know a lot of this stuff. It's more about how much further can I push my
This is where they've come with
capabilities with more knowledge and more practice and more information.
We'll have a good time. The students will have a good time. You're going to get a tremendous level of information, and there are different levels of knowledge. And when I met Rex, he was really the first guy that I had met that had that kind of tier 1 level of knowledge.
This won't be the last time that you guys do this. This is the best thing that I have seen or been associated with thus far in this industry. This is really good. I think that the guys have learned a lot about this on relative to the topics and how to handle it at the next one that they do. I expect that the next one will be better and better and better, and I think that the guys that go to it are going to benefit and learn a lot.
But you're going to see some amazing things. When this company, as he builds this company and this curriculum, and it goes, I'm telling you, it's going to be a bookmark in American firearms training history. Like something is different over there, what's going on, and people will come from all over.
Hey folks, Lou McCoy with the Rex Reviews Project, and we are here in Texas. Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun. I'm here with Jesse and his lovely wife, and what do you guys have to say after the second day?
So we get out here, the first thing we did was check out all of our guns and equipment. We want that solid. We learn the fundamentals, make sure that everybody is doing things like correctly and properly, and that way when we start shooting out the longer distances, we don't we don't have to wonder what's all going on out there, And I think that's really cool, because you feel a lot more confident knowing that you're solid. You got a solid foundation when you start engaging things way out there. So.
And you
I think that's great.
Yeah, man. And you start off really close, and you get all the bugs worked out, and then you work out farther, and it's no big deal. It's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy. So the system works, Mr. Rex. It works, my man.
Just this experience was probably the best shooting experience I've ever had. It was the most I've ever learned, ever. So just getting to shoot out to 1,000, 1,100 yards, and these guys get you out there quick and do it the right way.
Feels like, but I think it's rolling down off the snow. Right.
No way.
Nah.
That's still barely a 2.
Single.
Oh yeah? It's hot air. Nothing. Yeah, reticle choice and design, I've really learned to, like, that's really important. You know, we always focus on all the other stuff, you know, but reticle design, you know, is very critical.
If you pay attention to those classes and watch those reviews, it'll all come together for you, and this is the place where it all comes together.
Yeah, and you get out in the field and you get to apply all that knowledge and see it in action, and that's gratifying.
Absolutely, and it's the real world issues that that you're really learning here, as opposed to just you get all that technical data, and then you bring it out here to the real world and you put it all together and it works.
The secret Rex taught me about butterfly kisses on the cheek. And
It's actually true?
It was true.
Did it work?
It totally worked.
What?
It totally was. It happened earlier today, and all day I've been just on.
Like I just said a minute ago, yesterday everybody showed up. They were nervous. They didn't know what to expect. And look at the crowd behind us now. It's like a party back there, man. People are just having the time of their lives, and not only having a good time, but making some shots too. Some impressive ones.
They're learning what they come out here with. The dot drills, a lot of the drills that Rex and Paul are having us do, they really make you, get you into shape and make you, do exactly what you did the last time and be consecutive, So I think that's a just super way to start to do this stuff. So.
Yeah, it is. And you lay that solid foundation and the rest is easy, man.
Yeah, we're just now it's not even really hard to shoot out there. We're shooting out at 1,100 yards, and really not that big a deal now after we, now that we know what to do.
All right, what just happened, man?
I just hit a water bottle at 875 yards.
And you had one shot.
One shot.
That's not bad. So what's the secret, man?
Aim small, miss small.
Amen. Well done, brother.
Thank you.
As long as you pay attention and do what the instructors say, it will all come together as an equation, and the equal sign pops right up.
Name's Edwin from Boston. Traveled out here to Pennsylvania to take the class to shoot past my home range of 600. Shot out to 1030, made some hits. Every time Rex teaches you something new and gets you comfortable, he totally messes with you. Gets you dirty, gets you muddy, makes you roll around in the rain and the mud and the dust. And then he takes your scope and he messes it all up, and he teaches us something new every time. So great time, good guys.
Nice shooting there, Tex.
Thanks, man. Second round hit on the gong and first round hit on Fred. Almost a 1,000-yard shot. That was pretty awesome.
Feels good for first stage of the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I wasn't shooting very good yesterday, but it's good to come back.
Haven't shot past 400 yards until I came to RX-18. Right off the bat, brought us right out to 1,000 yards, gave us some confidence. And after working the range tables, I see no reason why I couldn't hit any target that I knew the true range to and had the dope for, all the way out to and including 1,000 yards.
You're exposing, all the different students, including myself, to some different techniques, pulling from different arenas, whether it be from some application of competition, PRS, NRL kind of things. When we can't always take a prone shot, shooting off of obstacles, from unstable positions.
I came to the RX just to learn everything. It's a great place to be, great people. Learned quite a bit. Got me dialed in at ranges I've never even looked at before.
I've been to RX 17-001 seminar and 001 shooting, and so I have some familiarity, but this is just a lot better. This is what I really enjoy. The instruction is again top notch. We learn any problems we have, we immediately have someone to diagnose the problem. It's because it's so relaxed, the environment, you're constantly learning and you don't even really realize it. I think it's just been an awesome experience, and the knowledge is unbelievable.
Hey, my name's Mitch. I just over here at the Rex Live Fire event. Learned a hell of a lot. I got my rifle zero for 100 yards yesterday, and within a few hours I was hitting 1,030 yards. And I've never shot past 300 yards in my life. So it's definitely worth the money, definitely worth the trip, the hassle, everything about it's been great. Rex has been great, the crew's been great.
Oh, this has been terrific from my standpoint. We've seen things that we never expected to see. Let me see, we've got one guy, first time ever, at over a mile or whatever, and he's hitting 25, 80.
I think everyone got to a mile, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, everyone got to a mile in the whole class
And,
relatively easily.
It's really been surprising, and that just shows how the equipment, and it shows how the shooters have progressed learning and with the instruction and all. These guys have had good instruction, and they've just got the job done.
And how far were we shooting?
It was 1 mile.
1 mile, and what were we using here?
300 Win Mag.
300 Win Mag.
But probably not. Watch out, Rex. Rex.
So you just hit the 2,500 yards. Like, what's your solution?
It was 116 and a half MOA elevation and 14 MOA windage.
And you had 4 shots.
Yes, sir.
You got in your team?
I had 6, so 10 total to hit 2551.
So tell me the story. How'd you finally spot where you're hitting?
I saw the trace. I saw his trace, and I called it good, but he was about 6 inches off the top right corner of the plate. He made a minor correction, bottom left edge of the plate, and I saw the top of the bullet, but I lost it, but it was an impact. So awesome shot.